Today I will be showing you how to make delicious parathas using chickpeas. I will walk you through step by step in detail, so if you're a beginner, I think this video will be very useful for you. Namaskar and welcome to Curries with Bumbi. I am using canned chickpeas today. Discard all the liquid that comes in the can and allow the chickpeas to sit in a colander for some time so that any extra liquid drips off. Then I transferred all the chickpeas to my food processor and blended it very well. Please do not add any water while blending. If you do not want to use canned chickpeas, just soak dry chickpeas overnight and cook them till they are tender. I have given all the ingredient proportions in the description box below the video, so please check that out. You can also mash the chickpeas very well with a potato masher, but please see to it that it is mashed well. Okay, so here are my well-mashed chickpeas. In it I added a good amount of chopped coriander leaves, that is cilantro. If you do not like cilantro, you can also add parsley. Next, 1 teaspoon of ajwain, that is carom seeds, go in. Crush them a little before adding. Carom seeds bring in a beautiful flavor and it also helps in digestion. But if you do not get it, use just a heaped teaspoon of dried thyme. Thyme goes very close to ajwain in terms of flavor. Then 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1/2 teaspoon of amchoor, that is dried raw mango powder. It gives a little sour taste, but you can also substitute it with lemon juice. And finally a teaspoon of bhaja masala, or as we say in Bengali, bhaja mosla. I will leave the link to my bhaja masala video in the description box. Also, please add a teaspoon of salt at this point. I forgot to add it, so I added it later on. Next comes the flour. I measured out the flour that I will be using for this recipe, but I will be adding it little by little so that everything gets mixed up well. You must be thinking that why I didn't add all the flour in one go. That's because I find it easy to knead in this way and everything gets mixed uniformly. Use warm water little by little and mix well. Kneading a dough is like a test of patience, so add water little by little and work your way through till everything comes together into one single ball. If you add too much water in the beginning, then you will need to add more flour to make things right, and then you will end up with a dense paratha. I used 1/2 cup of warm water, but please do not stick to this exact proportion. You may need more or less depending on what flour you are using. Today I used all-purpose flour, that is maida. Sometimes I use only whole wheat flour, or 1/2 portion of all-purpose flour and 1/2 proportion of whole wheat flour. After the dough comes together, I added a tablespoon of oil, and now you need to knead the dough very well for about 10 to 15 minutes. The dough shouldn't be too sticky nor too dry. If you find it to be too sticky, that means you added a lot of water. So you need to amend it by dusting flour little by little till it doesn't stick too much to your fingers. If your dough feels very dry and hard to knead, then sprinkle a few drops of water till it becomes soft. Stretch the dough while kneading. Fold it up and stretch it again. Kneading of dough is very important for making parathas. The more you knead, you will be developing the gluten network, and more the kneading you do, your parathas will turn out to be very soft when cooked, and the more you knead well, it will be easier for you to roll out the dough. So my friend, listen to music or your favorite podcast while kneading so that it doesn't seem to be boring. Knead till the dough feels soft but not sticky. So I added salt now as I forgot to add it earlier. Okay, I kneaded the dough for about 12 to 15 minutes. I applied a teaspoon of oil all around and then allow this to rest for a minimum of 15 minutes to about 30 minutes. After the dough has rested, again knead it one more time and you will be able to feel how smooth and manageable the dough becomes after getting that resting time. Then form them into small balls. Beginners, I would highly advise you to make small balls as it will be easier to roll and manageable. At the same time, if you are a beginner, start with lesser quantity because you never know what the end result will be. When I first started making rotis or parathas, I failed so many times. Sometimes they turned out to be brick hard. Sometimes my parathas turned into chips. Sometimes the parathas were too chewy and it seemed as if I was chewing and chewing on shoestrings. And my husband dipped my cracker-like rotis in dal to soften them up. But believe me, my friends, with practice it got better and better. So start with a smaller quantity, and once you get the hang of it, move up with the proportions. After making the balls, apply little oil to prevent them from drying up. Then cover with a tea towel and start rolling. I always apply a little oil all around my rolling pin and the surface on which I will roll the parathas. I learned this trick from my ma, and you should always listen to what your parents teach. Take one ball, roll it one more time in your palms. Dust it lightly in flour. Do not use too much flour as that will make your parathas hard. Roll them out gently without exerting too much pressure. If you feel it to be sticking to the work surface, sprinkle little flour. Again, do not add too much flour. Roll out uniformly by rolling from center and out. Give a little turn and follow the same drill. It should be rolled out evenly all around. I will leave the rolling part unedited so that you can follow it as many times you need. Do not roll them too thin. If they are too thin, they may turn hard, nor shouldn't they be too thick. Do not worry if your parathas do not look like a perfect circle. Just roll them out evenly and do not fret about the shape. Your goal here should be making soft parathas, so please concentrate on kneading, rolling them out evenly so that it is not thick in some areas and thin in the other areas. Halfway through, start heating up the pan. Always use a thick bottomed pan for making parathas. Okay, I am done rolling out all, so let's move on to the next step. Your pan should be quite hot to start with, not smoking hot but fairly hot. So heat up the pan on medium-high heat, and then when it gets fairly hot, lower the heat to medium-low and add the paratha. When you see the color changing on the surface, flip it. At this time, if you see deep dark brown spots, that means you need to lower the heat a little more. Flip again after a few seconds. Brush or apply a little ghee or oil all around the surface. Flip again. Apply a little more of ghee or oil on this surface. Then turn from time to time till it gets brown spots all around. You need to constantly adjust the heat when making parathas. Do not roast them on too high heat, but roast them on a medium or medium to low heat. And you can also leave out the oil. But from my experience, the oil prevents the parathas from getting dry, and the parathas also stay soft for a long time if you apply oil. These parathas turn out to be very soft, and they stay soft for a long time, so you can happily take these in your lunch boxes as well. You can have these with aloo curry that I recently uploaded, or Bengali chola dal, or chicken curry, or any curry of your choice. My husband and son turn these into wraps. They add some cooked shredded chicken on top along with lettuce, drizzle some sauce of their choice or sour cream, then they roll them up and it becomes a beautiful wrap. I also like having it with plain unflavored yogurt with a little sprinkle of chaat masala on top. You can make your kids have chickpeas in this way, and I find it to be very healthy. Though I used bhaja masala while making the dough, you can use any seasonings of your choice. Always place the hot parathas first on a cooling wire like this. In this way, they don't get soggy. After you are done frying all, keep them in a box and they will stay soft for a long time. And see how cottony soft these are. Hope this video will help you in making such delicious and nutritious flatbreads. Bye bye.